just so y'all know, this video is going to be a little long. You see the time frame on it. I have a few opening notes in the video. So if you want to get right to the meat and potatoes of things, you might want to fast forward around like minute 4, 5. But there's some important things to be said about the content of this video in the beginning. But I'm just warning you now so people don't get around upset because they had to sit around and listen to me talk for 3.5, 4 minutes in the beginning. But I think it's stuff you need to hear anyway. That's why I put it in. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and lead this video off with some of the obvious things that I know is going to come up, conversations that are going to happen no matter what my opening notes are for this thing. But I need to remind y'all a few things. I too have the internet, and believe it or not, I got unlimited minutes on my phone to call and get whatever info I need to make a proper decision for buying a truck. The options available to me do not escape me. So do not be confused or concerned that I went into this half-hearted and uneducated. Does that mean that I know everything about all of it? No. But I knew what I needed to know going into this. There's a lot of negativity around truckers buying a truck. A lot of negativity. There's a lot of folks out there who would rather see you not make any moves at all than to see you make a move that they wouldn't make. I have a friend who used to be a drug dealer. He wasn't my friend then. He's a truck driver now, and we met by way of truck driving. And he's going into a lease as well, and he talked to a friend of his that's a truck driver, and that guy told him that he was an idiot and he was stupid. Worst decision he could make. Now this friend that used to be a drug dealer, when he was a drug dealer, this same friend of his not only didn't have anything bad to say about him dealing drugs, but he would brag and talk about him like he was king shit. This friend of his had more negative things to say about him leasing a truck through SFI than he did about him dealing drugs. That's powerful. It says a lot about who you hang out with and who you don't need to hang out with. So all the advice I have to give y'all is you build the ark. You keep building your ark and you let the rain do the talking. Because it don't matter what you decide you want to do. Folks are going to have a better solution for your life. Even if their life is a dumpster fire full of just disaster and despair, they're going to have a better solution for your life. That doesn't mean go into things blindly and don't make proper decisions for yourself, your life, and your family. But you build your ark and you let the rain do the talking. I'm not going to spend time on this video breaking down the best option between SFI and buying something from a dealership. I will post a link to a video below to another gentleman who's done an excellent job breaking down the two, and I'm not going to spend the time doing something he's already done. But something else I want to tell y'all, there's nothing wrong with going to a dealership, buying a truck through a financing company. But you need to stop. Those of you that have done it, those of you that are thinking about doing it, and those of you who run people in the ground for not doing it, need to stop treating dealerships or dealership to bank financing like it's the Holy Grail. There's nothing super spectacular about that in regards to truck ownership. And if you watch the video, you'll see, just based on new business loans being 11% interest, them requiring 20% or more down, so on and so forth, it's not a complete even wash at the end, but the juice is worth the squeeze to consider the lease option, be it through SFI or through another company. They're not the only ones that do it. So those are my opening notes for this video. For those of you that might have a few of those things to comment on. All right, so the minimal upfront costs is one reason why I chose to go with SFI. They require, depending on what you have going on in your life, they require between $500 to like $5,000 or $10,000 down. Now I use that word, that term a little loosely, because there's a big difference depending on where you go. If you sign your truck on with someone that they've used before, or a company that's been vetted through their system one way or another. Now yes, SFI is Schneider Financial, but you do not have to go through Schneider. And I myself, I signed on with USA Truck, and I'm actually going to have another video on that. So before we get commenting on the USA Truck stuff in the comments, try to find that video, and let's leave those comments there if you can. But they have a very similar price structure or down payment or deposit requirement for the USA Truck as it did SFI, and Landstar was very similar as well. So you don't have to go through Schneider, even though Schneider Financial is the company that is fronting the truck. It's a very easy process. They let me, I applied, I had a conversation with my account manager. We went over my business plan, and ultimately that conversation is just one for you to let them know, make sure that you understand you're not just buying something you can gallivant around town on, that you understand the lease expectations, that you understand it's not a walk-away lease, that you understand that you will have to make X amount of dollars to make a payment every week. Your payment's going to range depending on if you get an old truck or a new truck or a used truck or whatever. It's going to range anywhere from $800 and something to $1,000 a week for 3 years. And then there's a balloon payment at the end of that, depending on what truck you get. Also could be shorter leases. They do have some used trucks, or whenever they're available, those leases can be as short as 1.5 years and not 3 years like the new truck. I could take my truck anywhere I want to take it. I don't have to stay with USA Truck. I can take it. I could literally start my own authority and drive this truck under my own authority. And that's a powerful tool for me to have at my disposal. It's a bigger reason why I didn't decide to go like lease purchase with a dedicated company to where I'm driving their truck with their logos on the truck and whatnot. Because I wanted to be able to take my truck wherever I wanted to go. One of the biggest things about buying my truck is I told my wife and my friends, I want this to be the last truck that I have to move out of until I buy another truck. And being able to take this truck anywhere is a big part of that. SFI has options for emergencies, something you're not really going to get from a bank. Now, not all banks have such a rigid structure, but most banks don't really give you an out. SFI have things built in place, like if you get behind on a payment because of whatever it may be, if it's you got sick or you had a surgery or whatever, had to be away from the truck, wasn't generating revenue, and they have things where they can move payment to the end. Or let's say your truck is down and the part that to fix that truck is made out of unobtainium, and nobody has it, nobody can get it for weeks and weeks on end. Well, they'll actually take and put you in a mini lease for another truck to keep you moving. And something that you're not really going to get from a bank. Does that mean that they're not in it to make money? Absolutely not. I'm sure there's a bit of rigidness on their end too, and hopefully I never have to go down any of those roads, but they're there. There's a lower risk compared to buying from a bank. There's a lease buyout. So if I decide, or if something happens, I say I break both my legs and I can't drive, or I fail DOT physical, Lord forbid, for whatever reason, and I can't drive a truck anymore 2 years in. There's a lease buyout, and it ranges somewhere around $6,000. But this lease with option to purchase does not bear on my credit good, bad, or indifferent. They're not giving me points with green thumbs up every month for making my payments, and they're not knocking me if I have to get out of the lease. It's not considered a repossession. Also, to go buy a truck at a bank, especially someone who has no business credit, you have to be on there with your social security number as well, not just your EIN. It's new business. Your EIN doesn't have, there's no flex to it. You don't have any sort of clout with your EIN number. So essentially, this is not what it is, but the easiest way to explain that is essentially you're co-signing for yourself. Your social security number is going to be on with that EIN, guaranteeing the payment of that loan. Well, the wife and I are looking to buy a house shortly. It's been my journey now for the last few years, and we're getting closer and closer to that time. I do not want to show north of $100,000 worth of truck on my credit. Another big important key for me, and this is going to be unique to me, I think. The truck that I got from SFI is the exact same truck that I built when I was in my trainer's truck back at Millis. I was dreaming about having my own truck, and of course I like the long nose deals and all that jazz, but at the end of the day, I want something that's practical, good on fuel, and does have some built-in safety features and whatnot that maybe the others wouldn't. But I wanted a black Freightliner with black leather interior, with the driver lounge in the back and a top bunk. I literally got everything in this truck on the inside that I wanted. There's only a couple of things on the outside I would have had different. Point is, I got the exact same truck I built on Freightliner's website, 99%. Going through SFI. Now, again, that just so happens because this is the truck I wanted. Now, you can't just build and pick and choose. You can't just build a truck. They have two options. You can get a standard truck or a premium truck, and essentially one's got like cloth interior and doesn't have the table in the back. It's got two bunks. Or the premium truck has got a few little extras on it. So it's the exact truck I would have bought through a Freightliner at a Freightliner dealership anyway. And something else, there's no payment until the fourth week of fourth Friday after your lease signing. Now, I've seen people on Facebook comment, you know, that their settlement comes out on like a Wednesday or Tuesday, and SFI is not flexible with them with their payment, their schedule. And I mean, the problem is there's a lot of people that go into this, and I'm not sure what their expectations are, but SFI, through my whole process, from the time I applied and talked to my advisor the first time until the very end, the day of lease signing, they walk you through what their expectations are. Furthermore, with that, with you having no payment until the fourth Friday after your lease signing, you have plenty of time to drive and put yourself in a position where you have at least 1 week of truck payment available to you. So that way it'll offset that settlement schedule that you're having issues with. And I just don't understand what people think they're getting into when they get into these leases. Those are my biggest reasons for getting into the SFI program. Again, I did get a brand new truck with a full warranty and whatnot on it, but I can't really say that's the SFI program. That's just because it's a new truck. So the reasons I've listed are my reasons for getting into the program. And if you're thinking about getting into the program, shoot me a message, we'll talk. There's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of people who don't like this because they were in a better position to get a truck than to go through somewhere like SFI. And I don't think it's fair for them to assume that you simply should just be in the position that they're in to go that route. I know people that have known people that own carriers, and they were able to just take it out of a monthly settlement for 3 years or whatever and continue working there, and then the owner was like, well, now you own the truck. Good for you. Good for you. But buying a truck through SFI, even if you may be paying a little more for it than at a dealership, it still puts you on the road to truck ownership. Whether it be you buy this truck, or whether it be you're able to go and make money somewhere that you can finally get in a position to buy a truck that you want. I've been satisfied with the experience from the time I started up until now. And as long as you know what you're getting into, as long as you know what you're going into, and as long as you know why you're going into it and how you're going to execute your plan, I think it's going to be relatively difficult for you to fail in doing this. So if you have any questions for me about this, about my process, about what I did, send me an email at bigginstrucking@gmail.com so we can talk about it. I'm not here to make you feel good about your decision, but I do want to kind of right some wrongs and to make sure that the misinformation doesn't make it to you like I was seeing from the time I got into trucking up until I signed with SFI. Also, it'll give me a chance to make sure that you get hooked up with my advisor. He has been just awesome through this whole process. He's knowledgeable and he's all about business, and he's been on top of everything since day one. So I can also kind of make that introduction as well. That's all I got. Until next time, drive on, driver. Y'all stay safe out there.